Hello, welcome, ladies, to our weekly free masterclass. Today, the masterclass is about content online. So, a lot of us, or most of us, are attracting clients online. So, how to never run out of content ideas? Because I do see, and that inspired me, like actually a post this week that some of you, think, oh, what do I post? How do I post? What if it doesn't sound right? And so on. So I wanted to talk about content a little bit today to hopefully help you with those doubts that you might have and kind of give you ideas that really, if you know your ideal client well, you will never run out of content ideas. So before we head on, as usual, I'm just going to quickly make sure that I'm live, you can hear me, and I can see everybody's comments. There we go. All right. Say hello, how are you? So you join, and of course, as I'm speaking, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in and ask a question via comments. I'll answer them on the spot. That's why I'm doing these trainings live, so they can be more interactive and I can help you with anything. And of course, if you're watching replay, this training will be always available in this group. We have them under topics, under announcements, under videos, wherever. So if you ever have questions, you can also tag me in the comment, especially if you're on the watching a replay. Hi, Nima. Okay, you're all charged up. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Great, thank you for joining. So again, before I go, those of you who don't know me, my name is Maggie Perrotta, and I'm the admin and creator of the group. I am a business and leadership coach for women entrepreneurs, and what I do is I help you attract consistent paying clients without overwhelm. Because of course, especially in the beginning, as you're growing your business, the main challenge is to attract the clients, and that can get very overwhelming, trying to figure out what to do, what not to do, what to post, what not to post. So that's what I do, and I will talk a little bit more about that as I'm giving you examples about the content. So let's dive into it. And of course, there's different type of content that you should be creating and posting, that they have different purposes and reason for it. Now here, as you can see, I listed the three main ones that you can really just start with, and you don't need any other ones. There isn't that many more, but let's just say those are three main ones. And I will focus on talking mostly core and marketing content quickly, because hi Susie, just because again we only have 30 minutes here, I can possibly teach you everything, but this is what we'll talk about. Now in my Business Results Accelerator program, then we dive into more of each of this content, what to post, create, generate ideas, and so on, and teach you even copywriting, some basics and so on. But today we'll do some basics. So the core content, what is it? This is through this content, you're establishing your expertise. You're showing your ideal client that you know what you're talking about, right, in your industry. And you're building some of the trust of that ideal client into your ability, right? Because for our ideal client to want to invest money, so give us their money, they need to trust us that we can help them, that we know what we're talking about, that we're experts in our field, and so on. So that's what you're doing through the core content. You're establishing your expertise and building trust over your audience for that expertise. Your marketing content is more of a promotional content. So here you are, trying to overcome objections that your potential client can have. You are, building your email list, you're promoting your things and so on. And we'll go a little bit deeper into that. And then your branding contest is you're talking about yourself and your brand as to who you are and what is your business all about. What do you stand behind? So the core of your brand. And especially, if we're service providers and we're the face of our brand, there is some personal stuff that needs to go into it, because this is how you can establish especially the know and like factor. So for your ideal client to buy from they need to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you. So that know and like factor is by them getting to know you as a human being, as the CEO or face behind your business, and understanding not only your personality and so on, but what do you stand for? Do your values really align with what you're telling or teaching in the business, through your business, and so on and so forth? So this is branding. Again, today we'll focus on core and marketing mostly. And before I get into that, I also wanted to say, so the content that attracts definitely need to be consistent, and it needs to bring value. And don't think that, marketing or branding content doesn't bring value. It does. It might be just a little bit different value. And then again, like, everybody perceives it differently as well. Adrienne, personal branding is all about authenticity to get your clients to know you and trust you. Exactly. And Adrienne is an expert in it. So, hi, Leah. So as far as consistency goes, it's really better to do less or to be on less platforms and keep consistency rather than trying to be everywhere or set goals for ourselves that you cannot maintain. So for example, January is kind of ending, but beginning of the year, a lot of people are always like, oh my God, okay, I'm going to up my post, and now I'm going to post 3 times a day. And they do it for, maybe a month and so on. And then they cannot continue. They can't keep up because of, the goal was unrealistic. And then that consistency falls and becomes, every other day or once a week or never, because they get so overwhelmed that they kind of stop for a month. They need to take a break, right? So it's better to start smaller, and let's say, oh, I'm only going to be, I like Facebook and Instagram or whatever, I'm just going to be on those platforms, and all I can commit to is every other day, so maybe 3 to 4 posts a week. And that's okay. It's better this way, where your audience knows that, okay, Maggie's showing up 3 times a week, we're kind of noticing the pattern, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and she's delivering value content, or Susie's delivering value content, we're going to show up. So it's better to do less, higher quality, higher value, and be consistent than go, guns blazing, as they say, like for a short period of time, and then pull back because you can't sustain it. And then you can always ramp up. Even in my business, I see when I started my posting, or even in this group, I wasn't live as often because I was scared, because I didn't know how to organize myself yet, or I didn't have time, whatever. And then I slowly ramped up because I got more confident in front of the camera. It's taking me less and less time to prepare. I have my systems going on. So as you do that, you figure a lot of things out, and then it's easier to ramp up the consistency, because it takes you pretty much the same amount of time it was taking you less often in the beginning. So don't worry about it. Don't try to be everywhere all the time. Less is more, because you can focus on value then. Okay. So let's talk now about a little bit of marketing, because I'm going to spend a lot of time here, and then I will focus on core content, because that's the majority of your content. Majority of your content should be in core, and then marketing and branding should sort of, you should weave in between that. So marketing message, again, as I said, like, the primary purpose is about overcoming your ideal client's objections. And of course, depending on the industry you're in, some of those objections might be the same as my potential clients. Some of them will be different. So you need to understand them and try to address them through your content by, educating your clients. So for example, I would just give two examples from coaching industry, and I'm sure a lot of coaches will sort of relate to that. One of it is, especially in business coaching, is, well, I don't have money to invest now, so I'm going to wait and gain a little bit more clients and so on, and then I will invest in business coach. But, one of the points is that if you're having issues finding clients or attracting clients, and whatever you've been working on or trying for whatever amount of time hasn't been working, how is waiting going to help you, right? The whole point of investing in a business coach is to attract more clients, speed that up, and start making money in your business, right? Or another objection is, maybe I'm not going to wait, but I really don't have money. And, how do I know if I get the return on my investment, right? So one of my things to that, or education, is that, when you work with a coach, and it doesn't matter if it's a, business coach, health coach, life coach, and so on, there's two parts to this. There is the expertise that the coach can help you, the motivation, accountability, whatever, but there's also your work. If you're not ready to put in the work, you will not get the return on your investment, because no matter what the coach does, you'll never, if you don't implement it, if you don't try, your situation is not going to change. But if you do, if you're ready to do the work and you pick the right coach for whatever goals you have and whatever challenges you have, you will get your money back tenfold. I can guarantee that, and I'm sure my fellow coaches will agree, no matter what industry you're in. So that's sort of marketing. And of course, marketing is overcoming objections, but then through that, building your email list, right? So you can come up with some freebies, building your email list, and then slowly, having call to actions that take your client through the journey of, they're your audience, they're starting to like you, know you, and trust you through the core and branding. They're moving more into your closer audience through the newsletter, through your group, and so on, and moving through that to your paying client. Now, core content, and that's when I'll spend most of the time today. But let me just say, Susie, consistency for me, I'm really only on Instagram right now, but I'll be there every week to post something to be consistent. Yep, exactly. Don't compare yourself to others on the consistency, right? Because somebody's all the time on the platforms doesn't mean that they're attracting clients. Maybe they're spending all their time posting and not doing any other client attraction activities, or they might be further out in the growth of your business and they're getting help, right? They're outsourcing some of the things, and that's fine, and you'll get there, but it's better to do less, more consistent. Okay, Adrienne, I hate shiny item syndrome. It's why I'm not getting onto TikTok and Clubhouse. Exactly. All I can commit to right now is Instagram, because that's the platform I feel most comfortable with. And that's the right approach, Adrienne, because again, if you think about it, like, there is enough people on Instagram, on Facebook, on Pinterest, wherever you want to be, even on one platform. If you pick one platform, if this is the platform where majority of your ideal clients hang out, there is enough of them for you to attract clients. You do not need more than that. Like, there is, on Facebook, I think lately I read there's like 2.2 billion people, monthly active users, meaning people actually using actively, not having an account, not doing anything. Instagram is much less, but even if it was, and I don't remember the number, the recent number in Instagram, but even if it was 500 million, those are crazy amounts. You do not need to be everywhere to find clients. Like, I think statistics say, if you had really 10,000 really committed followers and so on, you could have a super successful 7-figure and beyond business for a long time. You don't need more than that. I think 5 to 10,000. So focusing on one platform is enough. You don't need to be on Clubhouse. You don't need to be on TikTok. You don't need to be everywhere. Just pick where your clients are, what you feel more comfortable with, and stick there. And explore and get to know the platform really well and really, take advantage of its full capability. All right. Sam also asks people, for example, yeah, I'm not on I can't even go add to the Clubhouse because apparently it's available only for Apple users. I don't have Apple devices. My daughter does. I don't. So I'm on Samsung. Anyhow, okay, core content. So to create a valuable core content, of course, you need to know your ideal client. Why? Because you need to understand what are their challenges and what are the goals that you help them with in your industry. Because around that, you understand what do you teach. So when you have clients, when you have clients, and that even, I'm talking teach, it doesn't always necessarily, apply only to coaches. So I know like Adrienne is, a photographer, Susie's a designer. Think about what would you want to educate your clients on to be even more knowledgeable to when they come to you, your work gets easier. Okay, so like knowing about branding, knowing about what it takes, what do they need to have or understand or do when they come and work for you because they want a logo, they want some photography, they want whatever, right? So educating, teaching your clients about that shows your expertise, builds that trust of you as an expert. You're in your genius zone, but it also makes your life easier. It prepares your client to when they come work for you, with you, they know, oh yeah, I need this, I need that, and Susie told me this and that. So for example, in me, like with my coaching business, right, as a business coach, some of you know, some of you don't, I teach 3 pillars or a lot of things, but around 3 pillars in growing your business and attracting your clients. The first one is mindset, right? It's about self-leadership and mindset. We all have a lot of fears, the shiny object syndromes, and maybe lack of confidence and so on. And if that is not working for you and it's working against you, it's hard to attract clients, right? The second pillar that I teach about is the business skills. So the content, the marketing, the sales. I don't go into finance too much on the lives because it's just, I guess it's boring or it's harder. But in my program, we go through a little bit of finance, branding, but again, not the Adrienne's or Susie, maybe like visual branding, but core, what you stand behind and so on. So that's the second pillar, that business part, right? And then the third pillar I teach is about high performance. It's about maximizing the time you have in your business, so you have time to be balanced, because I really believe that as business owners, if we're not rested, we're not creative. It's hard to be strategic if you're exhausted and you're just running, like on the treadmill. You don't take time to think through and so on. So those are the core 3 pillars that I teach. What are you ladies saying? Yeah, I've always been more type of person to jump on the newest thing. Adrienne, we're similar this thing. Exactly. Yeah, it gets distracting. Anyhow, so kind of what do you teach? So take some time to just brainstorm about it. Journal, write, whiteboard, whatever. What do I really teach in my expertise? And then think about the transformation that you offer, right? Because it's important for your client to know, okay, they're in point A, what that point is, and you're taking them to point B, and that's the transformation. What are you doing? Right? So for me, it's again, I'm taking you either from the hobbyist or kind of like entrepreneur who is overwhelmed, doesn't know, like there's so much stuff and you're undecided, overwhelmed, not sure what would work for you, to a really confident CEO who knows their business well, knows their clients, knows how to attract those clients. You know how to be strategic. Again, you don't have the shiny object syndrome. You know how to direct your mindset to work for you, maximize your time, and so on and so forth. That's the transformation. So figure out what type of transformation you're, offering to your client. And then the third thing which you want to think about is that what are the core steps that your clients need to take from that point A to point B. Okay, so this is really like a little bit of homework that you need to do to figure out what your core content would be all about. Now, it doesn't mean you teach it all at once and you'll give your stuff away for free. That's not about that, but sort of understanding that and having like clear logical picture of it, because then what you're gonna do next is to really break all this down into small, tiny, bite-sized chunks and pieces that now you can convert to core content. And you can do that in many different ways, and you can pick only certain stuff. So if you're teaching a lot of things and that would be like too much, then you can just pick certain things. Just like me, again, I don't necessarily do finance in my core content. There's certain things I don't do because it's just too much, but I pick the most common, or the content from the most common issues or challenges that my ideal clients encounters, and I teach that in, again, bite-sized pieces, very small. And you can do that in many different ways. You can do that through Instagram captions and posts, through images. You can do that through Facebook Lives, YouTube videos, your newsletter. So you name it, however you want to do it, wherever your audience is, you can, this is how you do it. And thank you, Susie, for giving me a shout out for high performance. Okay, Adrienne, with asking questions about what people struggle with or want to know more in terms of a particular niche, be a good, yes, totally, Adrienne. So if you're, know your niche, or you know where you want to go, but you don't necessarily know exactly what people want or you have main challenges with, market research is totally yes, go out there, because it allows you to network already with people with your ideal client, with your niche. It allows you to understand them better. It also allows you, which brings me to my next point, is learn how they talk about it and how they describe it. Because when you teach, or when you use or write in core content, even in marketing, you want to use your client's language, the way they describe their challenges. Okay? It's kind of like, think about it like when you go to a doctor and describe the symptoms of whatever is happening to you. You're not telling the doctor, oh yeah, the root cause of my symptoms is this, because, unless it's a common flu that we kind of all know, you don't necessarily know what's causing the symptoms, right? And the way you describe them is not the way that the doctor learned at the university with all those technical terms. You're speaking it in your language. And the doctor takes that, processes it, right, in their own thing, figures out what it is, but they need to, not all of them do, but they need to, when they prescribe you things or tell you what's going on and how, they will help you, they need to translate, again, all the crazy books that they've read and all the things that they've learned into your language so you can understand. Kind of like lawyers, the same, right? So speaking in your client's language is key in any content. So going out there, making marketing, doing research, talking to your ideal clients is perfect for that as well. So not only to know them better, but also understand how they describe things. Haven't gotten much responses. I would say, so what are you, just quickly, oh yeah, you're asking questions in the story and so on. Stories. So I would say, Adrian, like if you could go, I know you're in a lot of Facebook groups, you could ask questions in the groups. If you're in the groups where your ideal clients or niche are, if those groups allow, like there are a lot of groups allow questions as long as it's not self-promotion, you can ask there. Or you can even, like, I don't know if you know anybody, or, maybe your network, people know people from that niche, and even setting up some phone calls. I don't know how, whether Zoom and so on, and speaking with a few people, like, hey, it gives you some human connection and some great conversations, and you learn even more through that because you can ask better questions or kind of really narrow down what you're looking for. Even when you post a generic question at Facebook, everybody takes it differently. Then you get people responding with 1 or 2 words and so on, and it's hard to dig deep. So sometimes really speaking with people allows you to dig deep. Yes, it might be time consuming, but it's so worth it. Okay. So as you teach, so now, for example, how to keep it fresh, right? So then you're thinking like, okay, Maggie, you're telling me to teach those things in, bite-sized pieces and so on, but I talk about it all the time, and I'm serving my clients and I talk about it all the time, and I'm tired. Like I feel like I'm repeating myself a million times and it's boring. Now, it might be boring to you, and you might be feeling like you're repeating yourself, but remember, you're an expert and you know that information, whatever you're teaching, inside out. Your ideal client doesn't. They're not an expert. That's why they're looking for you. So first of all, just so you know, even if you had the team, so I'm talking people who already know you, like you, trust you, you've worked with them, and you're trying to implement something new, so pass on new information, new project, as the CEO of your business, as a leader of your business, you need to communicate that new thing 7 times in many different ways. So not the same way over and over, many different ways for people to internalize that information 7 times minimum. So now imagine people who don't know you. So a new audience that's coming in, they need to hear that many times, more than 7 times. Many times in different formats, right? It's not about doing exactly the same thing over and over, to even internalize some of it. And you know how it is with social media, like let's say this training, right? Some of you are here live, some of you might watch the replay, but a lot of you won't even see it because it's not in your feed, it's not showing, right? We're kind of like a bit slaves to algorithm. Right? So some of you know, then maybe I'll send an email, right, about in my newsletter. Some of you are in my newsletter, so from time to time I'll send an email to kind of remind you, hey, there was this fantastic training, go and watch. Some of you do, but I know that some of you won't even see it. So even though I'm teaching it, not everybody who is in my audience will see it. So as you're teaching 7 times, 8 times, 9 times, 10 times the same thing, not that, the same people might not even see them that many times. So that's one. Second thing, think about it this way. As I said, like when you teach your potential clients already certain things, when they actually do sign up with you and they come and sign up with you, they already know certain things. So it's easy for you to do your work and teach them, right? And then they get the, especially in coaching business, they get the transformation, the results faster because they already expect certain things. So in my case, like I'm showing my journal at the time and I'm talking about journaling and mindset hygiene and all that. So then when I sign a client and they've been in my audience for quite some time, they already know they're getting a journal. They already know that there'll be something going on in there. So they're not like, what, Maggie, journaling? I'm not going to journal, right? So they're already sort of prepared a little bit for certain things that I include in my coaching. Okay. Now, what do I want to say? Adrian, definitely takes time. Facebook group questions with yes. Hi, Gail. Welcome. 7 times. Interesting. Great to know. I'm excited. Yes, that's why good CEOs, really, in even larger companies, they're talking about the same thing over and over because they're channeling the message so everybody's aligned. Right? So your clients, your ideal clients, you want them to be aligned. You want them to know what you're all about. What is your core teachings? What transformation you're giving them, and so on and so forth. And again, like new people are coming into your circle sort of influence all the time. So you need to redo it so they can get to know you as well. So that serves you. Even though you're bored of it and you're like, oh my God, I can't talk about it all the time, it serves you well. So basically, be persistently annoying. Yes. Now, how can you refresh the content so it's completely not boring to you? Because again, you want to have some energy talking about it. You want to be excited and show your passion, right? And sometimes I get it. It might be hard when you're like speaking the 100th time the same thing, but your ideal client might be seeing it the first time. So when they're seeing you and you're like, okay, well, let's talk about content and this is what you need to do, they'll be like, does she really like what she's doing? Right? So in order to have, for you to have energy and so on, what you can do about this content is, yes, you can spruce it up or refresh it, because there's many ways, again, to deliver the same message. It could be one time you're sharing a story of your own from your personal life or your business or whatever. Another time you're presenting that content and using maybe a story of your client. Then another time you're using a metaphor or something, right? Like the one that I did with dance the other week. I know some of you like that. Yes, I used to dance, and that was a big part of my teenage life. I don't dance anymore, but I love, watching and so on. My daughter dances, so I use that to show similarities, right, between becoming a professional business owner and being strategic and kind of very good at what you're doing and becoming a great dancer. And then there's many other ways. I draw, my inspiration from nature and many other things. So you can do the same. So then this way, the same content is presented in a different way. It's not as boring to you. You don't feel like you're repeating yourself, but it's still the core remains the same. Okay? All right. So the next thing is, of course, you need to be very good at that. And I feel that really, as a service-based entrepreneur, especially online, you have to get good at creating content, because that's how you deliver value. This is how you convert clients. This is how you present how you're, what your business is all about. And even if one day you outsource it, you probably won't be able to outsource it all, because if you're, again, a face of your brand, you can't have somebody do a Facebook Live for you, right? You need to show up. So there's some things you will have to do, or if you create a course, whatever you're doing, you will have to do yourself. But even if you outsource it, some of it, you need to know what good content is and what the outcome you want, so then you can teach the person you're outsourcing it to show your expectation, right? So your brand doesn't suffer, and that's on you to understand what the good content is. So then when you outsource it, you get the result and you get the money back from your investment. So practice, right? Practice makes a master, like with the dancer. The dancer, if they only know theory, they never practice, they will never be good. It's the same with you. As a business owner, to be good at content and so on, you need to practice, and you will see, how much you improve. And whether it's writing a bit of captions or copy, whether it's doing lives, whether it's whatever, writing newsletter, whatever you're doing, you'll get better. I've seen it in myself, again, like when I started doing lives, I was terrified, even though, again, I did speak in person publicly, or was training people in person, sometimes many people at once, but it's very different in front of camera because you can't see people's reactions, you can see people's body language, which tells you a lot, and you can adjust your message right there, whereas here I'm staring in front of my camera. Now, I'm seeing a lot of comments, which is amazing, but what if there isn't? And then you're like, okay, is this boring? Is this okay? So it's a little bit different, but I can see the progress I've made over the past couple of years from going my first live when my hand was trembling, even the confidence when my hand was literally shaking and probably my voice was shaking, to now where, yeah, I have a little butterfly, but I'm pretty confident just going live and doing it. Okay, so practice is great. What helps is preparation, definitely, for me at least, and I know that for a lot of people do. So when you, especially with lives, right, when it's written, it's different. You prepare it and then you put it out there. But when you're doing lives, or even if you start with recorded videos, with pre-recorded videos, and you're not going live, having at least some bullet points, so main points you're going to talk about in front of you, and I have them because I don't want to miss anything. So I always have some bullet points to make sure I don't miss anything I want to share with you. Helps a lot. It reduces stress, at least for me. So preparation, and not worrying about all the details, not wanting to be perfect and have everything perfectly. Like, for example, oh, I need separate camera, and I need this slide, and I need, if I have a graphic, I need to have like the most beautiful whatever graphic. Do what you can do. Use the resources that you have right now and you can afford and you can do. Again, the first lives I did was from my phone, because I didn't have camera, or certain places my laptop's camera is so, and then slowly I invested in like separate camera or whatever. So don't worry about it, okay? Done is better than perfect. Doing something, because I know, Adrienne, you had that kind of fear, I remember from our exchange of the things. You're like, oh, what if I don't sound well? Or what if it doesn't, resonate or whatever? You won't know until you push it out, and you won't be able to improve it until you put it out there. Because if you don't put it out there, you're always stuck in a way in the same message. Right? It's always like the same, oh, can I just put a comma here or do this and so on, but it's always the same. When you put it out there and then you realize, so people resonated with it or people didn't resonate with it, okay, what could I have done better? That's how you grow. And it's the same with me, even in the group. There's some posts that I write and there's lots of comments and you ladies resonate with it and so on. And there's some posts I put and there's not that many, right? So I kind of look at that and teacher like, okay, that didn't work well. Is it what could I have done better? For you to kind of take it in better, resonate with the post, and whatever the case might be. So I was about to, done is better than perfect. Yes, done is better than perfect. It's about doing the best you can with the resources you have right now, not perfectionist. So excellence over perfectionist, one of my values. So what I stand for in my brand and personally is excellence, not perfectionist. Just doing the best we can. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. All right. So one last point before we go is that don't be scared, or, it's kind of, for me, expected that you adjust your content, any of it, as you evolve and as your business evolves. As human beings and leaders of our business, we grow, we learn things, we, deepen our expertise, things change, even our, taste changes and so on. So with time, there will be things that you will redo, readjust, and so on. And that's totally normal. And for me, that should be expected. Because if you never adjust your content, that means you're not growing, you're not developing in your business. And For me, we all grow, and we should be growing, and with it, our business will grow. So don't be scared to adjust even the core, like those topics that you have, if you decide to either niche down or go a little bit different direction or whatever the case might be. That's totally normal. Evolution is great. Progress is great. And that's actually always cool to see how people evolve, how their messaging changes, and what kind of direction they take. Susie, I just had to type in one of my posts and realized fast over that before I put anything out there. And then it happened. Yeah, friend of you let you know. What's one? Yes. So I know, Susie, that for you it's difficult because Susie is my editor. Susie is always like, Maggie, you have to type in this post. I'm like, thank you, Susie. I appreciate. Like for me, typos are a common thing, and even though I check and I reread my content, there's always some that become a word, normal word, that I just juxtapose the letters or something, and sometimes I reread my post. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a typo. If I can, I change it. If I don't, it is what it is. Like, again, we're not perfect. We're human. Things happen, and yeah, that's that. So I'm glad, Susie, you were okay with it. All right, so yes, that's all I had for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, we talked about content that attracts. The key to that is consistency and value. And you deliver value by teaching your core, right? Spending a lot of time, not all the time, but a lot of time creating a content of your core expertise, educating your clients in small, bite-sized chunks, establishing your expertise, and then even delivering value through marketing and branding, because you're kind of marketing when you're dealing with your clients' objections, you're coaching them, right? You're inspiring them to become better, because when we change, hopefully we become better, especially with your help. Right? Your clients become better. So, and then branding, you're establishing that like and trust factor. And we dove deep into it, into this training. So I hope you enjoyed it. And those of you who watch the replay, I hope you enjoyed it too. Again, if you have any questions, just tag me or PM me, whatever. Other than that, see you in the group this week, Motivational Monday, tomorrow morning, on Wednesday, live Q&A in the evening, 7:30 p.m. Thank you, everybody. Bye.